Our movie begins in 1984, when the world's population was celebrating the passage of a comet near the planet Earth. Here we see Reg, who was playing a video game, and the cinema director asks her to go to complete the work. Reg then runs into her friend and co-worker Larry while he is trying to get a good deal to sell movie tapes. When Reg learned of this, he told her that he would give her $15 if she stayed with him that night and did not go and watch the comet's passage with the rest of the population. Reg then calls her sister, Sam, and asks her to connect her to her stepmother, Doris, to request permission to stay late tonight at work. Doris initially refuses, but agrees after Reg insists. Then Sam threatens Doris with telling her father about her actions, but she hits her and gets up in the middle of a small fight. On the other hand, while the residents waited for the comet to pass, Reg was spending some quality time with Larry, who told her that they were safe here from anything because of the steel covering the place. In the morning, all of the city's residents had vanished without a trace or explanation, and when Reg awoke, she felt nothing, and Larry told her that he was going for a little bike ride. But the surprise came when Larry opened the door. A zombie appeared out of nowhere in front of him and hit him several times until he died. Reg went about her morning as usual, going to get some fresh air, but she sensed something strange was going on, and unfortunately, the door to the cinema was closed, so she had to enter through the back door. And there she found the zombie, but she thought he was one of the harassers at first, but after he attacked her, she was able to fight him, and she fled. Reg kept wandering around the empty city for a bit, hoping to find anyone, but to no avail. Then she returned home, and fortunately she was surprised that her sister Sam was still alive. Sam was not persuaded of the gravity of the situation or that the world had ended despite a brief conversation between the two girls in which Reg attempted to persuade her sister of the reality. When the two realized the radio was still on and functioning, they decided to visit the radio station to see whether anyone was still alive. While the two were discovering the place, the boy Hector, who thought they were zombies at first, appeared to them and then told them that most people either died and disappeared or were turned into zombies because of the comet. Hector attempted to calm Reg down a little after she had made sure Larry had died. Reg then asked him to go to the local army unit to acquire some weapons because her father had been working on teaching them to fight since they were young. Sam discovered the evidence of someone still being alive while outside tinkering with radio gear at the time. When we go to the site of this person, we discover that it is a research organization with a lot of still living scientists, and they were talking with Dr. Carter about bringing some survivors into the organization, but Dr. Audrey had another opinion, which is that there is no need to bring the survivors because the vaccine tests are not effective yet. But no one listened to her. Returning to Sam, who was driving a car at full speed on the road, suddenly she saw one of the policemen behind her because she exceeded the maximum speed. Sam was happy that there were survivors, but when they approached here, it turned out that they were zombies and were about to devour her. But suddenly, Sam wakes up from the nightmare. Reg tries to calm her down, then goes to talk to Hector for a while and tells him about her father and stepmother, who used to treat them harshly. Hector tells her that he has family in San Diego, and she should go check on them to make sure they are alive. Reg was afraid of Hector's departure, so she asked him to come back. In the morning, the two girls were practicing archery, and Sam told her sister about Hector, and Reg answered that she had already begun to like him because he was so kind. But Sam was jealous at first, but with a little talk to her sister, she felt better. Hector was already at his family's home when he returned, but he was disappointed to discover no one there, which made him feel guilty about losing his family. After that, he made the decision to gather some images of them. While doing so, he heard an odd noise coming from one of the rooms. When he realized what it was, he encountered a zombie youngster and began assaulting him. Thankfully, Hector was able to flee without killing the child. On the other hand, Dr. Carter was trying to convince Audrey to continue working on the vaccine, but she was refusing to do so, and here the organization was able to bring some survivors, who are two children, so Audrey felt despair. Reg and Sam were talking together about some of their memories, but Sam was still feeling jealous and told Reg of that feeling because Reg might have been associated with the last man on Earth. But Reg tries to comfort Sam a bit and asks her to go shopping since all the stores are empty. At the mall, Sam and Reg spend some quality time together choosing expensive clothes without paying for anything. But we were surprised by the appearance of some young men in the mall surveillance cameras who were watching the two sisters. Then the leader asked them to go and arrest Reg and Sam. Indeed, the men extinguished the place and began attacking the two sisters. Sam tried to reach the weapon, but to no avail. On the other side, Reg managed to obtain the pistol, and a fierce battle began between them. Unfortunately, after a little fighting, the leader was able to capture Sam and take her hostage, although Reg managed to arrest one of the men and bargain with the leader over him, but to no avail, as the leader killed the man. After that, the leader and his men tied up Sam and Reg and tortured them a little, and here it turned out that the leader had been infected and had already begun to turn into a zombie. The leader was about to kill Sam, but fortunately, at the last moment, the leader was killed by the organization's men, who arrived to find some survivors in the place. Then Reg went with the rest of the scientists to the organization, while Sam and Audrey had to wait until Hector returned and brought him with them. On the radio, Audrey sat with Sam and talked a little. Then Audrey decided to give Sam an injection to prevent infection, and after Sam took the injection, she fell asleep, and it turned out that the injection was poison. The doctor accompanying Audrey was happy because of her implementation of orders, but she killed him too. We now see Hector, who returned to the city in the Santa Claus costume and brought a gift to Reg. But when he entered the radio, he found Audrey waiting for him, and there she told him that she had written all the details and all her experiences within the organization in a record and gave it to him. Then she injected herself with poison and died. Returning to the organization, we see one of the scientists draining all the blood from the bodies of the survivors and killing them, only to complete the vaccine project that Dr. Carter is supervising and which Audrey was strongly opposed to. Scientists also decided to obtain blood from the bodies of the two children as well. As for Reg, she was being questioned by Carter about her health condition, and when she asked him about the fate of her sister, he told her that she had died, and they were the ones who did that, and they were also going to kill her. After Carter left, Reg managed to hit one of the men and escape from the place. Outside, we see that Hector has arrived at the location of the organization according to the record written by Audrey, and the surprise is when it turns out that Sam is still alive and Audrey did not kill her. Then Hector and Sam began implementing a plan to get Reg out of this place. Inside, Reg was trying to escape, and while doing so, she found the room in which the survivors were killed and their blood obtained. Unfortunately, she was arrested after that, and Carter asked the guard to watch Reg well, but she managed to hit him and flee. And then she found on her way one of the scientists who was about to kill the two children, but she was able to save them, and at the same moment, Reg was very happy after discovering that her sister was still alive. The two sisters and the children managed to escape from the place, and they all got into the car with Hector. Here, Carter discovered what was really happening and went to catch up with them and eliminate them. Indeed, the car started, and they were about to leave, but Hector decided to wait to watch the show, and when Reg asked him which show he was talking about, Carter had already turned and started the car's engine, which caused a huge explosion in all of the scientists' cars. And this was what Hector and Sam planned to do to save Reg, and thus they eliminated all the bad guys. While they were celebrating the victory, a zombie suddenly appeared and attacked one of the children, but fortunately Hector, with the help of Reg, managed to eliminate him and save the child. It rained and the climate began to moderate a little, and here we saw Reg in the company of Hector and the children taking some memorial photos and talking about being the last survivors on the planet. So they have to preserve the rules and methods of civilization and build it again. And they began to teach the children the traffic rules. But Sam was disturbed by that, especially since there was no one left on the planet but them. While she was crossing the street, a speeding car driven by a young man came and was about to hit Sam, but he managed to avoid it at the last moment. Sam spoke to him, and it turned out that he was one of the survivors, and she began to admire him. Then the two went on a tour together, and they all lived in the hope of rebuilding the Earth or finding the rest of the survivors. And here our movie ends. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and press the like button to receive all new updates.